If you got an F-150 and you're trying to figure out how the door panels come off, this is the video for you. I'm going to show you on my 2013 F-150. Not really sure what years this covers, but they're usually kind of similar. This is probably 2009 to 14 at least. And if yours is a little different year, it'll be similar, or at least it should be. So first step, there's going to be some kind of fastener behind that little square. Should be a fastener behind this cover here. We'll show you a little bit more of that in a minute. Got some skippable chapters. There's nothing to take apart on the top here, although there's some hooks we'll have to move around. And then there should be two bolts, little bolts at the very bottom. There's one there. I'll show you a little closer in a second. And there's one on this side. You see what they look like. I'll give you the sizes on those right away. There, that's a little better lighting. Okay, so what should we start with first? I'm going to be using a, looks like 6mm. They use 3 different size bolts on this door panel. So this is 6mm first. And I'm going to do these bottom ones. You know how to take a bolt out, right? 6mm. It's not very long. Once you get it out, try not to lose it. It's almost like a sheet metal screw kind of thing. So if you lose this, I'm not sure what we can replace it with. But there you go. That's what it looks like. We'll do the second one. And we got the same idea here. Once you get that one out, you can move on to something else. So put that aside somewhere you won't lose it. And now we're going to try these other ones. Let's do maybe the handle first. Now you see there's kind of a hole here. It's like a square hole. It's about 1 inch high or something. You need a little pick tool. If you get in behind there and give it a tug, you have to tug it pretty good, and it should pop out. It's held in with a bunch of fingers on the other side. We'll put a tool link in the description too for these little pick tools. They're handy to have. And you see what that looks like and how it sits in there. Let's continue on. We've got another bolt here. This one is an 8mm. Told you there's different sizes. Again, lefty loosey, righty tighty. You'll need an extension probably because it's in there just a little bit far. Once you get that out, you should be able to move on to, this one's kind of a chrome color, fairly long as well. Let's go behind here. Now, screwdriver towards the back, or where your elbow would normally be. If you have the door panel open, depends on which side you're on. It'll be the elbow end of it. You should be able to just pop out one side. It's got little fingers as well. This one's been broken once. I'll show you. And we'll take that out. So it's got 6 little fingers. This one's got a broken one there. You'll see we've got 4 that are obvious. And we've got that one. And there should be one on this side. It's been snapped off by somebody else doing some work on it. 8mm bolt as well. Get that guy out. It's kind of far down there too. Depends on how long your fingers are. Maybe you've got a little magnet. What I ended up doing is just grabbing a pair of pliers and grabbed it, pulled it out of there. It's kind of this unfinished color gray. Grab the door panels on both sides, pull straight up, and then hold the door panel because we've got some wires behind there, and we've got also cable for the linkage for the door latch. Let's see if we can get this guy out. There's a couple different ways you can do this, but if you can get the cable out far enough and then just loop that little piece out of there, that could work. And then this little blue part here has got a couple fingers on it. If you can kind of put them, squeeze them down, or use a even screwdriver to do one side and then the other side and push it out the hole. It should just come out like that, and then you should just be able to pull this out. There we go. That's that part. Now we've got a couple wires, depending on which door you're on. You can give me the thumbs up if you don't mind. I'm sure you're learning something already. It'll help YouTube know I'm doing a good job. Let's get back to those wires. You've got wires for your power door locks. You've got wires for the windows. And on the driver's door, you'll also have an extra one for your mirrors. Try and kind of show you what they look like. One side on each connector on the same side has a little clip. You just press it down, and then if you wiggle the whole connector, it should come out. Take a little bit of doing, but you should be able to do it, and you should be able to see it a little easier than me, because I am I'm holding lighting with one hand, holding camera with the other. These two are different sizes, so you can't get them mixed up when you put them back together. Same with the driver's side, they're actually bigger. You won't get them mixed up either. And then I think that's it, isn't it? Yes. So what I'm going to do now is just hook the bottom of the door in first and just let it hang there, because I need something to hold the panel up as we try and put back our connectors for our power door lock switches and our power windows. Now, I mentioned that these only go in, you can't accidentally put them in the wrong one, and you can't accidentally plug them in upside down. They only each go in one way. Probably be able to see a little easier if you can get your head in here closer. Of course, I've got lights and cameras and all that kind of stuff in the way. Try not to stretch it too long either. And I believe this was taped up on this white holder there. Next, I'm going to put the door handle cable back together. And this is actually pretty easy to do. Just slip it in the holder and then pull as hard as you can and get the wire just to go in between this. There's a crack there. There you go. And then just slide back in. It should snap in, and that's done. This top edge, you see here, of the door panel, it's going to go into this groove that is part of this window sweep. Rubber piece there. It's going to be a little bit fun to try and get this all together because of that door panel lock that comes up through the top of the door there. So what I'm going to try and do is put the whole panel a little bit higher than it needs to click into there, to the door, to the holes they fall into. And with that door finger sticking up, make sure it's unlocked. Try and line it up. This, 2 people would be much better to try and do this. Get it over the lock, and once the little lock finger goes in the hole, like I say, it's not something easy to do. This will be the hardest part of this. There we go. Once you get it over there, just slide the door slowly down evenly. Pressure evenly around the whole door panel, and those fingers should go into the holes and hold your door panel down. Might have to just give it a couple little smacks to make sure it falls in place. Once it does that, we can put our screws in. You'll know when you start putting the screws in if it's sitting low enough or not. And there we see our door lock is moving up and down freely. Good. What should we do next? I could tell you about more videos on the F-150 truck. The flashing yellow arrows pointing to a card you can click on. It'll bring you to repair playlist on this truck. This is an 8mm bolt, and it's the one that's kind of a dirty colored one. It's not the nice shiny chrome one. It's got the bigger washer in it. That goes in here. Now, for some reason you've lost it. It's an M6-1 by about 1 1/8 inches long. That way you can try and find something that'll fit. Sometimes these bolts get lost. I usually try and give you thread size on some of these, just in case. Most of my videos will include that now. Now down here, it's more like a sheet metal screw. I'm going to try and move the door panel around a little bit left and right, up and down, to make sure the hole kind of lines up. 6mm bolt. This is the one with they're like a sheet metal screw almost. There's 2 of them. They go in here. Put it tighten it up a little bit. Maybe want to barely snug that one and just put the other one in, make sure that everything lines up. Let's get this guy in here as well. Might have to just push the door panel down a little more so that it fits properly. You'll know if it's going in there easily or not. And just snug it up fairly tight. It's basically just making it so it doesn't rattle. It's not really holding it up at all, though. What do we got left here? We've got this other one. It's the chromey colored one. That will go in here. Again, it's the same kind of a size threads. This is an 8mm bolt as well. Of course, if you lose this one, it's an M6-1 as well. It's maybe 1.25 inches long. If they were a little shorter, I'm sure they'd still work. Get that in there. Then we got this plastic cover that's going to hide that. The bumpy part goes towards the back, if you recall. If you can sit it in the part that you had pulled out at first, just get it to sit in there. It's a little bit stubborn, and just give it a little push with your fingers, and it should click in. Nice, it's in there. Good. What else we got? Oh, we've got this cover as well for the door grab. If you take a look at the way the fingers are sticking out of it and the holes that are available there, it can only fit in 2 ways. And I believe we're done. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. How about some bonus video? Just look at my layout here, some of the wires, and some of my lighting, some hanging up there. And it still seems a little bit dark since I started using this new camera. But with some bungee cords as well, holding the lighting up a little bit. It was well lit for your eyes, but just seems a little bit dark too. I might have to do some new settings on this new camera that I'm using. But hopefully the 4K is kind of nice to help you to see a little better if you're watching on your big screen TV, just for something to do. And an upside down version of me trying to plug in these switches.